Everybody, how's it going today? Ian back here with you, Entertainment Examiner. Hey, I'm going to do a special edition tonight for you on a recap of last night's Emmy Awards. It was the 69th annual Emmy Awards. It was a really interesting year because Game of Thrones, the perennial Emmy winner for the past couple years and always a huge leader in nominations and awards, was not eligible this year because it came out in July and the Emmy cutoff date is some point in June. So, because they had to wait for winter, Game of Thrones was not eligible this year, but it was still a great year for television. I'm telling you, I think that television is one of our greatest mediums right now. Just because there's such a variety of shows, and I see people around that are like, well, it's like the Oscars. I've never heard of these shows, and I mean, there's just so many places to consume television now in terms of, we're way past broadcast networks, your NBC, ABC, CBS, which have great shows, but the majority of your more award-worthy shows are coming from streaming services like Netflix and Hulu, and your premium channels like HBO and Showtime. And we definitely saw a lot of their presence last night, hosted by Stephen Colbert, who I thought did a really good job. I'm a big fan of Colbert's anyway. I thought he kept it edgy, but not too political. But I think everybody had something to say, of course, in this rather polarizing political climate we're in. But I still thought it was a good show overall. The big winner was The Handmaid's Tale, a show I'm only 8 out of 10 episodes in. I still need to finish it, but I've seen enough to tell you it is a really great show based on Margaret Atwood's 1985 novel set in a dystopian future where handmaids are the only women that can have children, and they're brought in who Elizabeth Moss, her character Offred, is a handmaid, and she is brought in with this couple, and her child is theirs, and so to speak. And it's a very interesting show. I love the way it flashbacks to her time and kind of a normal life as we would know now to this now more oppressed time, and the way she fights back. It's a very good show. Should it have won drama series? I'm fine with that. It's a really interesting year for drama series because there's quite a variety. We have the first network show that's been nominated since The Good Wife, but probably about 10 years ago now, with This Is Us, which is a terrific show. HBO's Westworld was great. That was nominated as well. The Crown from Netflix. So I'm just going to go through a few awards categories and just give you my quick recaps. Drama series, The Handmaid's Tale, I was fine with that. And Elizabeth Moss at Star, I predicted she would win. She's just brilliant in it, and she was nominated so many times before for Mad Men that you wondered where her Emmy was. The Emmys aren't notorious for giving out awards to different people. They're very much creatures of habit, which is a problem I've always had with the Emmy Awards. But to give it to Elizabeth Moss this year was certainly deserving because she is fantastic in The Handmaid's Tale. If you haven't watched it yet, I would highly recommend it. Also a surprise win was Ann Dowd from The Handmaid's Tale, plays Aunt Lydia, who is kind of in control of all of the handmaids for various reasons, and she's really fantastic in this. She was also nominated for a Guest Actress Award for The Leftovers, which was an HBO show that not a lot of people saw, including myself. I should go back and watch that show. It got very praised. The Handmaid's Tale also won big awards in writing and directing for the pilot episode, so that was, once it starts accumulating certain awards by evening's end, you can kind of tell who the winner is going to be, which the Emmys are quite predictable this year, and I didn't like that. The miniseries or movie category I had some issues with. I liked Big Little Lies very much. Thought it was an effective miniseries, but I thought Feud, Betty and Joan, about Joan Crawford and Betty Davis during the shooting of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, was a much better miniseries. I like Hollywood stories, so maybe that's why. But I mean, if you watch that show, you'll see how brilliant Jessica Lange is as Joan Crawford. And also Susan Sarandon as Betty Davis. You had great performances, a lot of nominations. Alfred Molina and Stanley Tucci up for supporting actor, and Judy Davis and Jackie Hoffman up for supporting actress. The whole miniseries just got shut out. There was a brilliant episode that took place in the Oscars the year that movie was nominated. The episode was just praised, and it didn't get anything. And Big Little Lies just swept. And I thought it was a very good miniseries about a group of women: Reese Witherspoon, Shailene Woodley, Nicole Kidman, Laura Dern, Zoe Kravitz, all in this very kind of wealthy community, sending all their kids to this private school. And it was good, and it had a really good twist at the end, and the performances were outstanding. I just didn't feel like it was elevated enough to the level that Feud was. So I was a little disappointed in that. Alexander Skarsgård won for Best Supporting Actor for his role as Nicole Kidman's husband in Feud. And I felt like he was very good in it, but for me, I love David Thewlis in the miniseries Fargo. He created this character named V.M. Vargo, who was just this very sinister person, and I thought he did a terrific job in that. Also, Alfred Molina, who's always shut out from these awards. He always turns in great work. He was in the movie Frida, about the painter Frida Kahlo back in the early 2000s. And I don't know why nobody acknowledges him for being such a great character actor that he is. Because obviously they like character actors because they gave the award to Ann Dowd. So I think that Big Little Lies was a little overrated. Nicole Kidman was great, but I prefer Jessica Lange in there. And actor was Riz Ahmed for the fantastic miniseries The Night Of. If you haven't watched The Night Of on HBO, you should take a look at that. He was very good. That was a tough category. Also, Ewan McGregor playing brothers in Fargo. He was fantastic in that. John Turturro also in The Night Of was great. So that was a very hard category. And also you had a legend like Robert De Niro in there for The Wizard of Lies based on Bernie Madoff, which was good but not great, so I can see how he might have not. A lot of people said he'd win because he's De Niro, but I don't think the movie was good enough to give him the award, personally. Comedy series-wise, Veep again. I love Veep. I'm a huge Veep fan. 6 awards for Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She's great. I love her in Veep. She's amazing, but 6 in a row? I don't know, because you got Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda and Grace and Frankie. You got Tracy Ellis Ross doing fantastic work in Blackish. I think the Emmys just don't spread the love sometimes, and they're snubbing people, like in the drama actor category. The fact that Kevin Spacey has not won yet for House of Cards. 5 seasons, he's brilliant. In Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul, 3 in. And Sterling K. Brown won for This Is Us, and I love Sterling K. Brown in This Is Us. He was great last year in People vs. O.J. Simpson, which he also won for. He's a great actor. He gave a great speech, which they should have. Come on, Emmys. If someone's doing a great speech, you got to play it out a little bit. And they're going to be one of those iconic characters. I think like Steve Carell in The Office. Everyone knows him as Michael Scott, and he never won the Emmy. It's just really troubling. And but Veep again, 3 in a row. It's a great comedy series. I'm always thrilled that Veep wins, going into its final season now, which I'm very sad about. Veep's a great show. Also, but there's a lot of nominees, as I was saying, that don't get acknowledged. The best winner of the night, though, was the first one, John Lithgow in The Crown. Man, did John Lithgow nail his performance in The Crown as Winston Churchill. Who'd ever thought John Lithgow is Winston Churchill, but he nailed it. And Claire Foy is as the Queen. If you haven't watched The Crown, owe it to yourself. It's an absolutely beautiful series on Netflix, written by the great Peter Morgan, who always writes great stuff about Queen Elizabeth II in England. And he wrote the movie The Queen with Helen Mirren. He wrote the play The Audience that Helen Mirren was also in, playing the Queen. If you watch The Crown, 10 episodes, you won't be sorry. It's great history. Variety, always great one last week tonight with John Oliver, one of the best variety shows on television. His stuff is so well researched, and he's a great voice for a lot of the climate that we're in now. I'm always thrilled when John Oliver wins. So another great sweep for HBO. I think great speeches again. I think Nicole Kidman, even though I think she shouldn't have won, she gave a great speech on domestic violence. I love Sterling K. Brown acknowledging Andre Braugher for Homicide: Life on the Street. I love Homicide: Life on the Street. It's one of my all-time favorite shows. Criminally underrated show. One of the most best-looking cop shows ever. Excuse me. Andre Braugher was the last African-American actor to win the supporting actor, or I'm sorry, the lead actor in a drama series like 15 years ago, somewhere in the mid-90s. So I definitely think that it was overdue. You also had great iconic wins from Aziz Ansari and Letha White, who's the first African-American woman to win for Master of None, to win a writing award. That's a great episode. Thanksgiving episode of Master of None on Netflix. There were just so many great moments last night, like Carol Burnett and Norman Lear and the 9 to 5 reunion. And along with Colbert doing a good job. So that's a quick Emmys recap. I don't want to make this too awful long. If you watched it, I hope you enjoyed it a lot. Go watch some of these shows. Again, if you haven't heard of these shows, Handmaid's Tale, Veep, Feud, Betty and Joan, Big Little Lies, search these shows out. You do yourself a favor if you search out this really good programming, because these shows are sometimes a lot better than what you might see on broadcast TV, which I think broadcast TV does get snubbed a lot. There are some great shows, but I think that they've had their due a little bit. Modern Family, got 5 Emmys in a row. It was a great show. And I think that This Is Us really deserves to be acknowledged this year, and NBC found themselves a winner there. So, well, I'm going to end this here. So, just a quick recap, but I really hope you guys enjoyed the Emmys if you watched it last night. And again, thank you always for watching my channel. I really appreciate it. And leave a comment. Who did you guys like at the Emmys? Did you have a best dress, worst dress? We could all go into that. Winners, did you think people deserved to win that didn't? Did you like who the Emmys chose? Would you, like me, think that there were a lot of snubs sometimes, but a lot of deserving people? So, again, thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.